here, I'm going to take a moment to introduce you to another member of our team.
I'm going to tell Nicole, I believe this is being recorded.
And we're going to get to that in about 60 seconds. Yeah.
We're going to talk about dogs, but this is Goji. He is lounging in the sun. He's also not allowed to fill out the poll because he is not capable of making rational decisions at this point. I think he's still asleep. He's snoring. His eyes are open, but he continues to snore. So we'll talk about Goji. Goji is a tragic mistake we made recently, but he's
mistake.
There you go. So anyway, all right, friends. What? Goji. Yeah, he's a good boy. All right.
He is a very important part of this conversation.
He is. Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you everyone so much for jumping on. I'm going to pull up our PowerPoint and we can kind of get started.
All right, Frank, you go down.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining. We are from the Junior Library Guild, and our guest here, Matthew Swanson and Robbi Behr, are the creators of the Cookie Chronicles and other children's books. They've been traveling for the past year, and we're going to hear more about their Busload of book tour soon. We're so excited to have everyone here today. Get ready to laugh, learn how to draw our friends' Dumbles, and learn more about why Matthew, Robbi, and their family have been traveling for the past year to distribute books to everyone. You'll get to see some pages from their series, The Cookie Chronicles, and make sure you have a pen and a piece of paper at your side. We have a drawing activity in the middle of this webcast. With that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Hannah so she can go over a few housekeeping items.
Hello everyone, my name's Hannah. I'm from the Junior Library Guild, and it's great to be with you all today. The webcast is being recorded, so if you know someone who can't be here live or you can't stay the entire hour, we have you covered because anyone who registered will receive a follow-up email with a link to the on-demand recording. And it will also be available next week on our website at juniorlibraryguild.com and our YouTube channel. So please feel free to share the recording with fellow librarians, teachers, friends, readers, and students. We are so happy that you all are here. And if you are new to Zoom and want to change your screen view, you can do so on the top right. And we do recommend side-by-side view because we will be sharing pictures and visuals. You can hover over the boundary between the shared screen and the speaker's video to adjust the size of each view. So thank you so much for submitting all of your wonderful, amazing questions. We're going to ask as many questions as we can today. And so now I'm going to hand it over to Rebecca.
Alrighty, thank you, Hannah. So first I wanted to start with some introductions. Our wonderful guests of honor, Matthew Swanson and Robbi Behr. They are the creators of the Cookie Chronicles and other children's books. They're artists, they're comedians.
Don't interrupt Rebecca.
Okay.
No, you go, Robbi.
I'm not going to take this call.
I was
not right now.
Matthew is not answering his phone right now. I'm sorry.
It was my dad. He was not informed. Please proceed.
Is your dad jumping on?
No, my dad will.
Is he going to call and be like, I see you
Rebecca,
guys.
stage is yours. Please proceed.
So we also have Elizabeth, also known as Liz Gavril, from the JLG team. She's our executive editor for the elementary division. She reads and selects the best children's books, and we're so happy to have her on our team and to be here today. She has spent a lot of time going over questions and PowerPoints, and she is a huge lover of literature. So thank you, Liz.
And Matthew and Robbi's books, of course.
Yes. And next we have Hannah McCarthy. She's our automation manager in marketing. She is a wizard with Zoom, all types of back-end things. She's great with technology. We couldn't have had this webcast without her. So thank you for leading these efforts. And then my name is Rebecca Cybulski. I'm a marketing copywriter at JLG. And the favorite part of my job is working with authors, illustrators, creators, literature lovers for our blog and for our webcast. This has been such a fun team to work with, and I'm so grateful for all the time and effort that everyone has put in. All right, well, let's get started. Matthew and Robbi, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves and maybe when you first started writing and illustrating, and what kind of came first? The marriage, the creative partnership, how did that work?
All right, so the relationship came first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Super cute. Yes.
we did not We did not know that we were compatible creatively
No.
for quite a few years, I think.
No.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that we went to college together. We were both dating much more attractive people at the time.
Much better people.
We reconnected after college,
And those
lowered
people
our
dumped
standards
us.
and
Yeah.
said, all right. But I remember there was an art show during college where it was doodles from
Oh, yeah.
people's notebooks. And there was a drawing of Walt Whitman on somebody's doodly page, and it was Robbi's. And I loved her drawings before I even knew her. So I think that has to mean something.
So old papers
Yeah.
from college one day,
Yeah.
and Matthew was like, "Wait a minute, you're
Yeah,
the person.
you're the
who call
one."
it." That was
So
from my
we sort of accidentally stumbled into
Yeah.
making books together. I wrote these strange little stories that amused Robbi, but that she found very problematic and hard to understand.
They had no plot. They had no like action.
So
And so I was like, we should add something to this.
I need to redeem your flawed fiction with
Yeah.
my drawings. So Robbi added illustrations, and we started really enjoying that synergy of words and pictures and how they could work together to tell stories. And we've been doing it now for the past almost like 25 years together.
Yes.
So definitely marriage first, creative partnership second, and I'm glad it happened that way.
Yeah.
In terms of when I started, I wrote my first book when I was 12 with my friend Jason. We won
Wow.
honorable mention in the district arts fair. Robbi, when did you start drawing?
I mean, everybody starts drawing practically when they're born, right? As
Yeah.
soon as you can pick
You just-
something up, you start drawing.
You just
So,
never stopped.
Yeah, I always tell the kids when we talk to them, like the best way to become a great artist is to just not stop drawing when everybody else stops.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just kept going.
Mostly a matter of perseverance. Yeah.
As is true with most things.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Did we answer
According
your question?
I don't know.
to our viewers, 72% of the people on the call right now would rather be an author, and
Oh.
28% would rather be an
You
illustrator.
guys are
Very
librarians.
interesting.
It's okay.
I mean, I'm not going to comment. I'm
Understand.
going to let that stat stand and not comment on it further at risk of upsetting Robbi.
We should do that poll again after this is over.
Okay.
See how our numbers.
That's a good idea.
But he discovers that they can draw dumbbells. All
After
right.
everybody
Okay.
discovers how cool it is to be an
Okay.
illustrator.
All right. All right.
Mm.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So can you tell us more about your creative process? What's your work schedule look like?
Yeah.
Do you work on a project first together, separately? Do you come to each other and say like, I have this amazing idea? How does that work?
Okay.
Every time Matthew comes to me and says, I have this amazing idea, I'm like, that's a terrible idea. We're not doing that.
Yeah. Anytime I try to be even vaguely strategic with the project, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So my process is sit down at my computer and try as hard as I can not to try as hard as I can. If
Yeah.
that makes any sense. I just start writing and things happen. I have to tap into some flawed part of myself that's trying to figure itself out and has something to say. And that's how characters get born. So I think that mostly I get up really early in the morning before my critical brain wakes up and my creative brain gets to be in charge. And I start writing stories. And if I find something that I think is worthy of Robbi's high standards, I hand it to her and she tells me whether or not she's willing to illustrate it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of how it works. So the writing always comes first.
Except for one time.
Except for one time. So we started out self-publishing and we self-published these, what do we call them?
Odd, satirically,
No, commercially non-viable illustrated
books for adults. Yes. Nobody wanted to buy them. Nobody understood them. One time we said, let's see what happens if Robbi goes first. And she drew me a stack of illustrations, sort of vaguely thematically aligned.
Yeah.
And then I wrote the book and it was so bad
It was so bad.
that when people ask, oh, could I
Buy,
could-
like,
oh,
like,
no,
sorry,
I
it's
have
out of print.
copies.
No,
I'm so
can't-
sorry.
no, can't
No.
do. Even
So-
though out of print just means we don't print it anymore.
It's
on
very
our
embarrassing.
printer on our desktop.
I write things,
Yes.
Robbi approves them, and then if she likes them, she draws pictures,
We have in between time,
which is
which is us editing
Yes,
together.
that's true.
Right, we do work
Yes.
together to sort of polish it up as much as we can, and this is before it goes to our editor
Yeah.
at at whichever publisher we're working at.
Yeah.
So Matthew writes it, shows it to me, I give him feedback, we do some editing, then we send it to the editor.
Yeah.
And then the copywriters, and then once it is all done, I don't want anything to change in the writing because of the way that I illustrate. I have so much integrated illustrations with the text that if somebody adds a paragraph somewhere,
she
that
gets so mad. She
messes
gets so
everything up.
mad. I
And
get in
have to
big trouble.
redo everything.
Sometimes that has to happen, Robbi. Sometimes the words have to evolve.
They do, but
right.
not after the copywriter.
Let's let Rebecca go on to the
That
next
was the answer
slide.
to the question.
Okay.
We got it.
We have many questions remaining in this hour. All right. What else would you like to know,
Yes.
friends? Oh,
very importantly, we'd
Okay.
love to hear about, how your family and how your dogs contribute to your artwork.
They contribute to our artwork by keeping us from doing our work. There are 4 children and 2 dogs in one small home. They're a constant menace. If you want to be an artist, don't have children. That's
Or dogs.
No, that's not true.
So
yes,
we have
yes,
Alden is 15.
yes,
Kato is 13.
yes.
Augie is 11.
Good job.
Jasper is 6. I
Yes.
practiced that.
Yes, you
before
did.
this. I did.
Yes.
And then Dumbles is 3 and Goji is 6 months.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I
So
didn't know he was so young.
yes,
Yes.
he's
We'll
brand new.
we'll get to that later. I am certain that having children helps me understand how to write about them. But honestly, we have a door over there. We shut the door. We do our creative work on this side and our family life on that side. So there's not a lot of overlap.
I've been cleaning our
Okay.
house
Yeah.
and I found a worksheet that Augie did in 1st grade. It
Yeah.
was for Mother's Day. And one of the questions was, what does your mother say to you the most? And I think you're supposed to write like, I love you. And Augie wrote, I'm working. That's the answer.
Oh,
So there you go.
Wow,
That's
that's
how they contribute.
crushingly true. Okay. Yes.
Keeping it real. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, kind of moving on to your Busload of Books tour.
Yeah.
Liz, do you want to take it away?
Yeah. We just saw that beautiful visual of the huge bus in front of the mountains. And I think as probably very many viewers here already know, you've had this incredibly busy 12 months leading up to now on the Busload of Books tour. What was your mission setting out on that tour?
As concisely as possible, our mission was to try to bring books to communities where books are in short supply, creative enrichment to communities where schools can't afford to bring authors and illustrators in for an assembly, but also spread awareness of the challenges facing our nation's public schools. So we live in this beautiful little historic colonial town, and most people here don't realize that 88% of the students in our local elementary school qualify for free or reduced lunch. And this is the case all over the country, where the community has one appearance, but there is hidden poverty, and it has
There's poverty that is just everywhere. You
Yeah.
know, it's not a unique problem that our public schools are facing. So
our mission was to bring
Yes.
25,000 hardcover books to one school, one Title I school in each of the 50 states, spend a year with our family, traveling the country, celebrating the sort of unsung treasures of the United States of America, visiting schools and spreading awareness about the challenges that face Title I education and the amazing heroic work that public
Yes.
librarians and teachers do to connect
All day,
kids
every
with
day.
book and creative opportunities every single
they
day.
are heroes.
All right.
Heroes.
And-
okay.
And how are we able to make it possible? Because we have a Robbi. The Avengers have a Hulk. We have a Robbi. Robbi is a machine when it comes to
If I
painstaking.
used to be.
No, you did a great job. Robbi had to figure out where we were going to sleep every night for 350 consecutive nights.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was stayed. Yeah, you please talk about your greatness. Or
just
do you
saying,
want me to? Yes.
There's a very big spreadsheet involved.
Yes.
Let me tell you that. So yes. So there we go.
That is our route. That is 34,000 miles, friends.
So we made the plan. I made the plan as much as possible to stay where it was. We were not going to have adverse weather in the bus. Now, I originally had us in late October going to Montana and Wyoming. And I got some emails when I first posted the preliminary map. And people were like,
Don't do it.
that's a bad
Don't
idea.
do it. You will get stuck for 6 months in Montana.
It's going to be very cold there.
So
So yeah,
it
so I
worked.
did a little adjustment and
Yeah,
it worked. Yeah,
it
we
worked.
were able to avoid a lot of bad weather. So
Yes.
that is why the route is such as it is. We do a lot of zigzagging.
In addition to visiting all 50 states this year, we visited 900 bathrooms. I approximately counted. The bus had no bathroom, but America has many bathrooms, friends.
And
If we had more time, I could tell you the highlights and lowlights. The lowlights were very low, but
But
for the most
I would
part,
say for
yeah.
the most part, 4.5 out of 5 stars on America's
yes,
bathrooms.
way to go,
Yeah.
America.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, please proceed.
Right, that's good.
Mhm.
And how long did it take to plan this whole trip? Did you plan most of it beforehand,
Yes.
or okay? So
It was all so we asked schools to apply and then we selected the schools, and that probably happened about
That happened in October of the year before we left.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was where we started actually. I mean, we've been planning this in our heads for probably
A
about
decade.
10 years.
Yeah.
But we started getting the schools, and so then I set the schools as the mileposts for our travel, right? Those were where we needed to be and at what time we needed to be. And then all of the in-between stuff like on the day-to-day, I planned usually about 3 weeks out. So so as we were on the road, I was finding places to stay that were 3 weeks out.
And a lot of the stops were crowdsourced by the people who follow us on social media. We asked people for recommendations and we came up with some really awesome places to visit. So anyway.
Yes. So that's the logistical side of things, but we also had lots of partners who helped us make this.
So all the schools we visited were members of First Book, which is an incredible nonprofit that's been spending the past 30 years providing high quality new books to Title I communities, schools, pediatricians, social workers, etc.
Really low cost.
Yeah. We also worked with Washington College, which is a liberal arts college in our town, to conduct the first ever large-scale research study of the impact of author and illustrator visits on attitudes among elementary school students regarding literacy, drawing, and writing. And the results are incredibly exciting, and they will be published in the coming years. But the spoiler alert is across all age groups and across all of those 3 types of metrics, there was a demonstrated statistically relevant bump in the wake of our school visit. So everybody, you know this, librarians who've hosted school visits know this in an anecdotal way, but soon the data will be available for you to share and hopefully help secure funding for more literacy interventions.
So yes. So yes, those are that it wouldn't have been possible without those partnerships. So we're really grateful for them.
And how was a year of traveling and living on a bus with your whole family, with starting with 1 dog and ending with 2 dogs?
That's an important clarification.
I know. And did it present challenges? Anything that viewers should consider? Or no? But everyone might want to run out and buy a bus. I don't
like
know
how you worded this. Anything that viewers should consider or know before trying this out?
Don't do it. No, that's not true. It was fabulous. I thought it was going to be really awful. I thought it was going to be uncomfortable. Matthew, to be fair, is a little bit of a delicate
princess.
flower, friends. I need a certain number of pillows. I need quiet. I need calm. But in the context of this year that was this great adventure, and all of the sort of gratifying encounters we had with the kids in the schools and the people we met along the way, somehow it was just an unending joy. I mean, I think there was so much good, positive feeling that came out of it, that the bumps along the way. Now, let's be honest, Robbi. For the first month of the tour, it rained a lot in New England where we were, and we had approximately 1,100 holes in the roof of the bus. So Robbi got frequently damp, and Robbi doesn't like being dead.
It's me. Everybody got wet.
Yeah, but you were the maddest about it.
The maddest because I was the one who had to fix it. So I had to spend many an hour on
Robbi is the plugger of holes, real or metaphorical.
Yeah.
But you, by like 2 months into it, we had a dry situation inside, and things got a lot more careful.
Both of us have really short memories. So I already forgot about that, and it was making me so mad at the beginning.
So anything the viewers should know before trying it out. And this gets back to the poll questions at the beginning. If you have not figured it out by now, the poll questions were basically boiling down to, are you a Robbi or are you a Matthew? We are opposite in some really important ways, and the same in very important ways. We think that collaboration works best when you have certain things in common. We have a shared vision. We really care about quality. We really love literacy and books, but we're very different in that I exert great gust of energy. I am the knock down the wall with the sledgehammer guy, and Robbi would rather do the 500 index card alphabetization, which is my nightmare. But you need both kinds of cosmic forces coming together to make something like a year-long bus tour with your family work. No, but anything you should know before trying it out is that like it takes a wide breadth of skill sets and a wide breadth of dispositions. And so like when I was having a bad day, Robbi would, so anyway.
Have a good day.
Yeah, I did all the driving, Robbi did all the navigating. We divided and conquered and got all the things done because we're different in important ways.
It
was great. I loved it. Robbi and I would still be on the road if our children hadn't insisted on coming home to see their friends and go back to school. They're such drags. We just wanted to keep driving around visiting schools. They want to go to their own school. I had a great time.
They had a great time too.
Did you have a great time?
Yeah. They could have made this a really miserable trip, but they were awesome and they loved it.
Props to our 15-year-old high school freshman daughter who slept in a queen-size mattress on top of a bus with her 3 little brothers for a year.
Wow.
I am gratitude for all that she is. Hopefully that will not scar her. Hopefully she will benefit from it someday. We shall see.
That's amazing. And did the kids go to the schools sort of as on your trip? I think I saw some of that a little bit on social media. So
So
they start,
Jasper went to kindergarten in every school that we went to.
We're trying to figure out if there's ever been a situation where someone would have attended kindergarten in all 50 states. Let me
he
know.
may be in the Guinness Book of World Records for all you know.
Put him in there.
Yeah.
And older
And-
kids would go into classrooms and do Q&As and drawing tutorials and origami
in some
demonstrations.
of the schools. They
Yeah.
didn't do it in every schow. And Augie went to
fifth grade.
To fifth grade, and if they didn't have a fifth grade, he'd go to fourth grade. And one place he went to third grade.
Yeah.
And actually, one place Jasper went to in Mississippi, he went to first grade, and
We
then
mixed it up, tried to keep it interesting.
one time he went to third grade, and he was very pleased.
Yeah, yeah.
He thought he skipped,
he thinks
3
he's a
grades in
big
a
man
day.
now. Yeah, we'll see.
Have they started school back in your town?
No.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next
Okay.
week.
Next week's a
We'll
big
see
week.
how it
They're
goes.
Okay.
excited.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Jasper,
Yeah.
what am I doing in first grade?
Kind of going back to those poll questions,
Yeah.
we had one question: would you rather be the driver or the navigator?
Yeah.
61% said they'd rather be a driver,
Ah,
and 39% said they'd rather be the navigator.
we've
That's
got some
interesting.
Matthews here,
I
Robbie.
know,
I've got to
no,
say, my people have gathered here today.
Surprised.
Yeah,
I
Well,
wasn't allowed to vote, but I would have been a navigator for sure.
navigator. All right. You know, is it statistically significant difference? I don't know. I don't
I
know.
feel
But
like that's-
thank you, Rebecca. Once again, I won't comment anymore beyond the data. We'll let it stand
You'll comment when you have a
When we-
lesser percentage.
when we hang up. Yeah.
well, so this next question then might drive you crazy.
Uh-oh.
Would you rather knock down a wall with a sledgehammer or put 500 index cards in alphabetical order?
I hope
49% of people said sledgehammer, and 51 said 500 index cards.
I think that is
Wow.
like in an election, that's too close to call.
That is too
I
close to
think
call.
I think definitely the jury is
And
out.
I gotta say,
What?
We should probably do a
I'm
recount.
forced to choose, but I would absolutely love to smash down a wall.
Oh, all right.
So
All right.
yeah,
No, but you
it's just not my natural mode.
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rebecca.
Certainly, yes. So how do you hope that, your mission of providing accessible literature to students, how do you hope that impacts their underserved communities?
I mean, ultimately, we were only able to provide one book, right? So it didn't make literature that much more accessible. But there are many schools that we went to where a lot of the kids said, this is the first book that I've ever owned. So
And it's not just the book. I
Yeah.
think it's really
Mhm.
important. Like we think about books as this convenient opportunity for us to go into schools and interact with kids. Like because we're authors, we get to do that. We would love to do it anyway because we love talking to young people about creativity and about the possibilities that are unlocked by storytelling. So the book was the excuse to get up in front of kids and say, look, we are people who have a story inside of us. Matthew wrote this story. Robbi illustrated this story. There are things inside of us worth sharing. Friends, there are things inside of you worth sharing. We want kids to walk away from our assemblies knowing that they are creators, that they have value, that the things that they have to say, that the things they have to think matter, that people care about them, that it's worth sharing their stories with others.
it's sometimes hard for kids. It certainly was hard for me to imagine as a kid and even as a college student, young adult, that a writer or a creator is not some like distant
Yeah.
genius who sits in their, in their attic and writes alone and is like that is their entirety of their being and who they are. I think what is exciting is showing kids like we're just regular people who do this thing, and this is something that you also could do, right? This is something that you could do. And I think just especially getting kids at a time when they're young and they don't see all the possibilities that they have, to just show them that this is a possibility. I'm not expecting or trying to wrangle anybody into becoming an author or an illustrator, but for those kids who suddenly say, oh, like I never even thought that was something that I could do. I feel like that is the value to me.
Yeah.
And also the traveling aspect of the tour also added that a lot of these kids don't have opportunities to see other places, to go to other places, and just meeting us and being like, oh, you got to go to Hawaii, or like what was it that was interesting about Utah, or whatever it is. Just having a few of those doors open, and that is the thing that books do all the time, right? All books, like we always talk about opening doors, and sliding windows, opening mirrors, whatever. That's what the thing is that all of the educators know. That's what books do. And I think until kids realize, like until kids can make that connection from book to yourself, that's what I hope that we were able to do, is make that connection, that you can do that, you can see these things, you can experience these things, and it's all valuable.
I love that. When we had talked before, you had talked about this concept that generosity creates generosity. What does that mean?
I mean, we got the idea for the tour because we saw that our local Title I school, where our kids attend and where Robbi went to school, however many years ago, 47 years ago, so no, right, would never be able to afford an author visit. So we said, we can donate our time for an author visit, but boy, would we like these kids to also have books. It's a community that can't buy our books, so we don't want to get them excited about reading and then not have a book to read. So we put up a GoFundMe. We were like, we need $3,500 to buy books for all the kids and teachers in the school. It's probably going to take a while to raise this money. 36 hours after we put it up, we had all the money we needed. And so we said, there's an interest here. We put a gesture out there, and it was reciprocated very quickly. And the tour has been a whole sequence of that. We said, we did this in this one small place. There are 55,000 Title I schools in this country. We need to do something bigger. Let's help people see that Title I education is a reality and a challenge in every single state of this country. Let's help a community in every single state in this country get books, get an exciting, creative day, and let's see if we can raise an extraordinary amount of money. I did not think we could. Robbi, who believes in us more than I do, said, let's do it. Let's put it out there. And once again, I mean, we raised $150,000 to buy 25,000 books for the kids, and more money to get the bus set up and to travel around the country. So the generosity, yes.
Well, I was just gonna say that the generosity, we like every place that we went. We were welcomed with open-heartedness.
Every place.
No
matter what color the state was,
No matter who the people were. They were so happy that we came. They gave us gift baskets, and these were we were going to communities that didn't always have a lot.
And if I can generalize, the needier the community, the less resource the community, the more they wanted to give when we came. And it was extraordinary how much that correlation came. When I would pull up to a gas station to fill up the bus, the guy in the really big pickup truck next to me, who would never probably have a conversation with me because we wouldn't have anything to talk about, would come over and say, what's going on with that bus? No, I drive a sensible sedan. But he would come over and say, what's going on with that bus? I see books on that bus. My aunt is a classroom teacher. We'd talk about the tour, and he'd pull a 50 out of his wallet and hand it to me and say, please buy some books for some kids. The bus created a permission structure for conversations that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So all year long, we made friends that we wouldn't have had. And I guess the thing I want to share is that this trip restored our faith in humanity. It gave us a sense that we are not as divided as we are constantly told. And if we focus on the things we care about and have in common, we can have open-hearted conversations with each other. And generosity was the spark for all these conversations. So anyway, I feel like we're doing a lot of soapboxing, but we feel passionately about this. And the trip was really meaningful. Yeah. So anyway, generosity, good, powerful. Do it.
Thanks for sharing. That's awesome to hear.
I think this question might be mine. Yes. What has been the most exciting or impactful thing about the tour and your recent experiences?
It's so hard to say, but all of these connections with all of these kids in these schools, it just goes to show there aren't bad kids. There aren't bad kids. Kids are coming from difficult situations. We got to see them at their best. We would go into these schools. They would be excited to see us. It makes me emotional thinking about them. We just had the best experience, teachers showing up at their best.
A kid in Arkansas came up to Robbi and said, ma'am, can I
say something? Can I tell you something? And I was like, sure, go ahead. Go ahead. He's like, before you came here, I didn't think, I never thought that I could be an illustrator. And now that I talked to you, I think I know I can do it. I know I can do that.
And whether or not that kid becomes an illustrator, that kid has a larger sense of himself and his possibilities than before he went. And that is the power of creativity. That is the power of books. And that is the power of human to human connection. We raised a lot of money to give away books, but the thing we gave away was free. And that was respect and interest. There are so many overlooked communities where people just don't.
This is part of the presentation where we both start crying.
So I think what we did is we allowed people to feel seen and respected and valued. And that was ultimately the number one feedback we got from the host after our tour was not thanks for the books. It was thank you for loving our kids.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, it was a really, it was a meaningful year. So it was a gift. It was a privilege to be able to go into all those environments. I wonder if any human being has ever been in an elementary school in every state in one year.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. But
you might be in the Book of Guinness World Records too.
I hope the director of education
in 1 year. No, I don't think so. Anyway, all right. We're gonna move on from this. Yeah.
You can ask another question about it. Make us cry.
Hopefully, I won't make you cry.
Yeah.
Anymore. How has literature impacted your own lives?
Oh my gosh, it's given me an outlet for working through all of my neuroses. I think all of my characters are just personifications of my glaring flaws, and then I get to, you know, make a career around talking about it. I'm miserable when I am not creative, when I don't get to write, when I don't get to do whatever. For a while, I get really cranky, and Robbi sends me to my room to write a story. So for me, it's just how I live. I've throughout my entire life since I was very little. I love creating stuff.
Understand how you know, I think we've come to a time where we start measuring our worth or our value or the value of our lives in numbers and dollars, and you know, our success a lot of times we think is based on numbers. I don't really know, I don't understand how we became that, because the thing that makes us most human is storytelling, is sharing stories. And the idea that the fact that I get to sort of have my numerical value be fed by like the actual human value of what we do is such a gift. Literature is perhaps like the most important thing in life, I think. Being able to share stories, being able to understand the human experience of somebody else. Like, what a gift that we get to partake in that, and we get to share that, and we get to share it with kids. Like, there's nothing better. So I don't know, it just,
and we get to share with each other, like at a very personal level. We get to sit here and make these stories together, which is the best.
So I don't know there's a way in which it hasn't impacted my life.
How can other people help support your literacy mission?
Gosh,
I mean, you can support our work directly if you want to by going to our GoFundMe, but you can support our mission by getting involved in your own community. You can go volunteer at your local school. You can support teachers in your local elementary school. There's something called Donors Choose, where teachers can put together campaigns to buy school supplies, because so often public school teachers are buying their own supplies because their budgets are getting cut. So you can learn about the challenges in your own public school system. You can go to Board of Ed meetings. We're talking to the converted. The folks on this webcast know this, but you can help socialize those ideas in your community. There's just a lot more that the average person could do to make themselves aware of the problems. It's really easy to look past them. And if you look around your own house and there's lots of books, think everybody has lots of books, but in low-income communities in this country, the ratio of children to books is 300 to 1. So donate some books. No, buy new books for kids. Anyway, there you go.
And then, as we know, you've only recently returned home after this incredible 12 months. How are you doing? How's the adjustment going? Has it been strange to be home? Has it been like, oh, we never left?
Coming home was super smooth, and then like 2 days ago, I went into the bus. It's still parked right there. I can't move it.
Oh, you can't separate.
The return has been great until we just started talking about the tour, and we both got super started crying.
Yes. No, it's been great. You know what's been great is that our kids have jumped back into their lives with 2 feet on the ground running. Their friends are still there. They're getting into their activities. They're excited about school. That was the most concerning thing. Like, would they be able to get back into it? And they have.
It's also great. We actually come from a very small community who has been following along and been so involved in this whole thing.
When we drove into town, a police car met us at the outskirts of town and led us into town with the sirens on. And then we
parked local celebrities.
And 300 people were there cheering, and it felt very good.
Yes.
So it's good to,
Aw.
thank
It
you.
was 300. It was a lot.
It was maybe 700. I don't know.
But
That's great.
yeah, it's nice
Will
to
you
be-
take some time to rest? I get the impression that you guys
No, we
don't
did not
rest
rest.
too much.
I'm now wistful for not having rested.
7 coffees this morning.
Yeah.
and So yeah,
We're working on it.
we're going on fumes.
We have 3 books under contract that we now have to make.
Oh, exciting.
Yes, so we are busy. We took a whole year off from creating, and now we need to jump back in fast.
Get back
Well, I'll
to
get to that later, but
Okay.
did you take a whole year off from creating?
I had to edit the most recent 2 books while we were
Okay.
driving, which was
Okay, we're gonna get to that later. Get to it later.
Okay.
But here's a few lovely photos from your trip.
Hmm.
Just
Which
to
is
show
fabulous.
people a very small fraction of some of what you did in the last year.
It was just the best.
Mm.
It was the best. I mean, sometimes people say to us, "Oh, you guys, you're such a sacrifice. You're so
Oh
this
my
is such a noble mission." All this stuff. I'm like, guys, we get to walk into a school and kids are like cheering us on. They're like, "We can't wait to. We're so glad you're here." Like, there's nothing better than that. Oh, I love your drawings. Like, who doesn't want to do that every
Yeah,
day?
it's very
So
gratifying.
I feel very, very lucky that we got to do this trip. It was the best. Look at those kids.
Oh,
There we go.
books.
You're gonna change topics a little bit.
Yeah.
Your books.
I don't know how I can follow up that. But I would like to talk about, the Cookie Chronicles a little
All
bit.
right.
So a lot of these books have been
Twist
JLG
Matthew's
collections.
arm.
So what's your inspiration for these books? Were you walking one day and you came up with this amazing idea? Are you always reading and looking for inspiration out in the world? Tell us a little bit about that.
No, my creative process really is very opaque, but for the Cookie Chronicles, the defining moment was a youth of profound confusion. Matthew is very literal minded to this day.
Still super
And
literal-minded.
so the idea of a protagonist that's confused by language and who gets in trouble because he takes language too literally just really resonates with me. Like I say, I am Ben in many ways. I like to eat and I'm often confused. And so that's enough to build a series around.
Super literal.
You like noodles?
I love noodles. Robbie, are you what? I sense an anecdote coming.
Well,
Yes.
yes, I do have a funny anecdote. I mean, it happened on the trip. About Matthew being literal minded was that we had been to Hawaii and we had gone to Pearl Harbor and we were talking. Now we were somewhere else. We were saying, "Oh, we just went to Hawaii. What did you see? We went to Pearl Harbor. We went to this thing." And she said, "Oh, Pearl Harbor, yes. It's moving, isn't it?" And Matthew was like,
Wait, they're moving Pearl Harbor? Where is it going? So that's what I'm saying. I've not moved past my confusion about language. So anyway, yeah, no, and that's it. That's it's always a part of me that's trying to speak, and it's that part of me that is
But
yeah.
Matthew's process is just to write a lot.
Mhm.
He writes all the time, and then there are nuggets where he's like, "Oh, that's something interesting," and then he'll sort of pull from that and start fleshing it out.
I wrote the first
So-
page of Cookie Chronicles, forgot about it for a
Yeah.
year and a half, then pulled it out later and said, maybe I'll keep going with that. And it turned into something.
Yeah.
So don't throw your writing away, friends.
Yes,
It might
hold on to it.
bloom later on. Yeah.
I'm so glad you came back to it.
Yeah.
I'm
me
a big
too.
fan. Love the series. It's so
Thank
fun.
you.
So
Thank you.
fun.
So when you're working on this series, did you have a specific age range or reader in mind or audience?
I tried to write this as a chapter book series, and the problem is everything I write turns to middle grade, no matter what. I tried to write a YA, turned to middle grade. So I'm just a middle grade guy. I think that is where I am emotionally centered.
Yes.
So
It has heart a 10-year-old girl.
So it
I
was
think
bought.
that's-
It was bought by our editor as a chapter book series, and she was like, "You have some bad news for you." So we turned it into a middle grade. And in terms of the total number of books, there are 5 out. The ones that you're seeing here. I just finished writing 6, and
I have to illustrate
just
it
started
still.
writing 7. So we're moving forward, and we'll see where it goes from there. That's all we know about right now.
Matt's very excited about 7. Just so you all
Yeah.
know, on the while we were on the trip, he didn't have any ideas, and then and he was a little worried, so he was asking kids, "If you guys have ideas,
Yeah.
send them my way."
Yeah.
But he woke up in the middle of the night. What, 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
And he was like, I got some ideas.
But the
So-
ideas came from kids. The kids
Mhm.
wanted me to write a book about a family that goes on an ill-begotten RV adventure.
They've been to go on an
So
RV
that's what's
trip.
going to happen.
Where did
I
they
have
get that
lots of
idea?
anecdotes. I don't know where that came from. I think it's going to have
It's a
a
good
leaky roof
idea.
and a cranky mother. Yes.
And 2 dogs.
Oh,
We are going to.
Mm.
Don't stop spoiling the book for everybody, Rebecca.
So I've been wondering, I was paging through your books, absolutely love them. Where did your fascination with fortune cookies start?
It's interesting. I don't know that I had a fascination with fortune cookies. I'm someone who's drawn to really wise statements. I think language can be so powerful to galvanize an idea or an understanding or like open up something inside my mind. So when I think about I love to eat and I love wisdom. And a fortune cookie is like a wisdom hamburger. I mean, it's so.
if there were hamburgers that had wisdom in them, this would be called the Hamburger Chronicles.
I don't actually like cookies very much. That's not like my jam when it comes to eating, but Ben does, and that's what's important.
If fortunes and burritos, then
Chipotle of doom. So that's what I that's what I want. So anyway, it's the wisdom.
It's of wisdom.
It's the wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's one fortune or piece of wisdom that you'd really like to receive? And then what's one that you do not want to receive?
All right. I would like this fortune in my cookie. Your dogs will not wake you up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I want it to be real. Robbi, what would you like to not have?
Oh, to not have.
Yes.
What would I not? Well, it's a funny one.
What?
I think I got this one. It was something like, you will be famous beyond your wildest dreams.
Oh.
And I was like, no, thank you.
No.
I don't want to do that.
No.
That sounds like a nightmare to me. So
having to walk down the street.
Have everybody like telling you how much they hated your last movie.
Good.
Yeah.
I have a out of left field unscripted question for you.
Okay.
Yes.
You know how there's like, I feel like there's 2 kinds of people. There's the kinds of people who have the fortune cookie, open the fortune cookie, take out the fortune, read it, discard the cookie.
Mhm.
And then there's the people who are into the whole thing, fortune cookie, eating the cookie.
I have a process.
Can you tell us what is your preference?
I'm not interested in that cookie. That's not tasty.
Opens it, and then gives the children.
Matthew's no cookie.
No cookie.
Kids
No
get the
cookie.
cookie.
I am open it, read the fortune. I believe that the fortune will not come true if you don't eat the cookie.
Oh.
So if you want the fortune to come true, eat the cookie.
Oh.
If you
Okay.
don't want the fortune to come true, give it to your children.
That's why that's such terrible luck all these years.
Okay. So Matthew, if you want the dogs not to get you up at 5 in the morning,
That's
eat
right.
the
You
cookie.
have to eat the cookie.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. You're welcome.
All right.
I feel like we've accomplished something there
Oh.
in the wisdom cookie department. So one of the things I, as I've said several times, I love this series of books. And I love how the art and the text work together, and they play off each other, and they're integrated. And I would love to hear you guys talk a little bit about. There's also this very purposeful uses of language in these books, which I love. So I guess Matthew, if you can both answer whatever, but I'm guessing, Matthew, you might talk about the use of language that you choose in the series, and this frequent interplay of the art and the text and how one affects the other. And Robbi, I know you do the book's design too, so take it away.
I mean, I guess I would say that with the language, the book is just chock full of figurative language, metaphors.
So if you go back to that previous slide. I'm sorry, that I just chose, these are unrelated spot art, but I just chose a couple examples that you could see the use of the language and the simile and the figurative language. So just pointing that out to people.
Looked at him like 2 tricycle tires who just noticed the third one is flat. So in writing this, I give myself permission to just load it up with figurative language, because if the premise is there's a young man who's confused about language, then I want to give kids opportunities to encounter this baffling language repetitively so they can learn and appreciate figurative language. But what Robbi does is she provides the decryption, right? Here's this metaphor, and you can look at it and you can sort of get the facial expressions. And so it's a way to let words collaborate to not just entertain, but kind of covertly instruct.
I
I
was
don't know.
gonna say, I mean, I think you make this sound like it's very purposeful.
No,
Like
nothing is ever purposeful.
So Matthew is somebody who he speaks in a way like he just is somebody who likes language. And so one of the delightful things is he will never say the most direct way of describing something. Instead of saying like, we're going to school, he's like, I don't know, how would you say that? He just says things in sort of like a very clear, but like descriptive way.
Thank you, Robbi. Yes.
That wasn't, I'm not the language person, you would say it better. But anyway, so the point is, what first made us actually start working together was that Matthew used all of this figurative abstract language, and that allows me a lot of space for the illustrations. He doesn't describe, he says what it's like, right? So that allows me to do a lot of play with the illustrations that I wouldn't have. Like if Matthew's writing was like, he stepped into a room, the wallpaper was flowery and was brown and blue. Like if he did all that, I wouldn't have anything to do, right? And it wouldn't be as fun for me. And in fact,
I need to keep you busy and I'm in trouble.
In some sections, our editor is like, and our art director is like, you need to actually draw a room, Robbi. And I'm like, draw a room. I want to draw Janet as a beaver. That's what I want to draw. So Matthew's writing actually just happens to work really well with what I love to do with illustration.
And for those of you on the webcast who maybe haven't read our books, one of the things that we've heard from librarians and teachers is that these books are really good for your reluctant reader or your reader who doesn't want to encounter just a page of words. There is something about the illustrations that creates an inviting environment and that leads the reader through the narrative so that kids who haven't read a book this long before surprise themselves by sort of tearing right through it. Again,
that's absolutely one of the things. You know, there's art on every page and these are fat books, but there's so much art. They can really feel the sense of achievement having read this real, great big book without being overwhelmed. I was just going to say, because I asked Rebecca to go back to the previous slide, but so this is, we're just showing an example of how the text and the art are working together. This is a chapter from your latest Cookie Chronicles book.
Cookies of Chaos.
Cookies of Chaos. There's multiple cookies in this one.
Yes, there are 5 fortunes in this one. Poor Ben.
I know, right? So this is just, kind of an arbitrary example that we put in. And I feel like, well, we really could have chosen any chapter and from any book, and you'd see the same sort of thing of these sequential pages and how the integration of the text and the art is working together.
Let me tell you, I don't remember any of these illustrations. This is delightful to me. I'm like, oh,
I love this one.
Oh,
I love this one.
don't.
Robbi does most of her work between 10 a.m. and 3 a.m. Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
We are like ships passing in the night. I go to sleep, Robbi goes to work, and that's another way that we collaborate to make our lives work.
That is fun.
I love it. I love it. These are fun.
Who wrote these books again?
I did, and you drew them. I don't think we've ever gone back and once we get a finished copy of our book, actually read it, because we're always working on the next ones. So this is a pleasure. Thank you. I just think, it's, I wonder if I will ever write a book that's just words. I think not. I think what I really enjoy, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He's keeping me so busy. We keep trying to get him to write books with no
Robbi,
pictures. And then I read it. I'm like, well, how can this not have pictures? So someday.
So kind of going back to thinking about those fortunes in the cookies, is there, a mantra or a theme that you follow throughout your life?
I mean, yes, it's 2 heads are better than 1. And it's getting back to this idea that without Robbi, I'm pretty sure, and this is true, I'm pretty sure I would not be a writer. I wrote some poetry in high school. I thought I was this amazing poet. And then I went to college and took a poetry class and I learned that I was a terrible poet. And then I took a fiction writing seminar and I liked it. I noodled around a little bit. I applied to graduate school. I applied to the 6 most prestigious MFA programs in the country, and I got 7 letters of rejections, friends. I got rejected by the University of Minnesota on consecutive Mondays. The same guy wrote me the same letter with a different date in the upper right-hand corner, emphatically stating that I was not welcome. I shouldn't, in any case, I would have given up right there. But Robbi was like, no, they don't get to decide whether you're a writer. You get to decide whether you're a writer. And so we spent 10 years self-publishing. We made these weird little books together. Nobody understood them. I'm not sure we even understood them, but we got better. We developed our skill set. We made connections and we grew into ourselves as artists. And I would never have walked that road by myself. Robbi has the ability.
I was gonna say,
what?
My theme that I follow
Yeah.
is like, sure, I can do that. And so I don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
I just am like, well, obviously somebody's done it before, so that means that I can probably do it.
There's
so,
a YouTube video I can watch to
Yes.
figure out how to do X, Y, or Z.
Find it on YouTube,
Yeah.
and then you can do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of the things that have a lot of the reasons why we've been able to do a lot of things is because I say, sure, we'll figure it out.
I despair, and Robbi says, no, it can be done. And then I'm like, okay, and I'll help do the thing. So
to do all the actual work.
It really helps to have someone in your corner, someone who believes in you,
Yeah.
someone who will push you forward. We have such incredible capacity
Yes.
inside ourselves.
Theme for the bus tour.
Yeah.
Because some kids just need somebody to believe in them.
Yes.
They just need somebody to say, sure, you can do that.
Excuse me.
Can do that.
We all need that.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. We all need that. So,
So,
anyway, yes.
It's a good theme.
I would marry Robbi if you have the chance. But
There's only been one taker. I mean,
all right.
I haven't had much options.
All right. Thank you, Robbi.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Do you have a character in the books or characters that you resonate most with?
Let's be
Why?
honest, friends. This is thinly veiled biography. I am Ben, and Robbi, brassy, opinionated, strong-willed, sometimes overbearing Janet. I mean, this is
Janet.
yeah,
I
no,
love Janet.
yeah.
I also love
His-
Nora.
and Nora,
Nora's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
you are Janet, Nora, and the mom.
Mom,
I mean,
yeah.
it's all just one.
Yeah.
It's like a hydra. It's a three-headed monster of strong-willed women bearing down on poor Ben and helping him along in life. So thank you. No, our other middle grade series, The Real McCoys, is also a biography of Robbi and me. But then that one, surprisingly,
Yes.
I am the female protagonist, Moxie McCoy, the strong-willed detective who flails about helplessly, coming up with theories but never finding the right clues. And Robbi is her little brother Milton, who helps stitch it all together. So Robbi and I need each other
Yes.
to solve mysteries, create books, and figure out what fortune cookies mean. So
But I do love
yeah.
Janet.
I do
love
too.
Janet.
I love her. She always makes things
She's the
happen.
best.
Yeah.
She does. The series is so filled with humor and fun. I think, that's everywhere in these books. But there's also some more poignant and serious themes too. Do you try to work that into sort of each book? And
No.
is that something you'd like, what would you like readers to take away from these books? That may not be totally the same.
No,
question.
I think it's the word try. It's the word try. And not to be glib, but I don't ever try to work in the serious stuff. The serious stuff is there. Stories spring from ourselves. So if we're telling an authentic story, we're dealing with real stuff that we're thinking about in the real world. So the Cookie of Doom is ostensibly about Ben making a bucket list and needing to eat as many marshmallows as he can and jump over a fence and all these things. But it's also about the fact if the fortune in the Cookie of Doom is live each day as if it were your last. And so, yes, it means life is precious and fleeting. And not to spoiler alert, but Janet reveals that her father was killed in a car accident at one point. And that surprised me as much as anyone else when I got to that point in the book. So it's mostly a fun and goofy book with lots of action and hijinks, but there's something pretty important. If you're going to write a book about the fleeting nature of life, you have to have a moment where it's really put in stark contrast. So no, I didn't try. I didn't like think of that. It just happened. Go ahead.
You're a real schmaltzy guy.
What?
Like you're a real, yeah. So
I have
think-
feelings, Robbi.
yes, he's very, he's very
My
emotionally.
feelings sometimes come to the surface in my writing and otherwise. No, but I mean, this goes back to, this is nothing new that I'm saying, but
Yeah.
literature has to entertain and delight us. So we read it, but it has to have the substance that helps us on our own journeys. It has to help us understand how to live lives, solve problems, connect with other people, move upward through our lives. So I hope that in each of my books, there is something that kids can take away, whether it's understanding what the fortune means or having some sort of experience through the character's progression that will help them encounter that situation when they come to it. Yeah.
That sounded good.
All
I don't
right.
know.
Okay. thank you.
Okay, moving on to a little bit of a different subject. Why is the act of creating so important in your lives? Why do you keep creating? Why should your readers stay inspired to create what interests them? You touched on some of this already.
The act of being a person is so lonely and isolating because we can't ever truly understand what's happening inside each other. I've spent a lot of time with Robbi and I'm still like, what is going on in there? But creating, taking experience, filtering it through the unique set of tubes inside of here and making something that I can give to you is the purest form of contact with you that I can make. This is me. And I want you to look at it. I want you to experience it. I want you to like it or not like it, but just see it because this is me. And I think that's what we're doing. We're creating. We're building bridges that are trying and failing to cover the gap between ourselves because we want to connect with each other as deeply as we can. I don't know. What do you?
Well, I mean, I think that's what I was saying before about humanity and storytelling, and we are and we should be creative creatures, because I think that's where we're our most sort of authentic, is showing what it is that we would generate, what it is that we would make,
And what we value.
Yeah. Like all of the things that are important to us get to come out. So I just think it's such an important thing, and it's something that we don't put as much value in, I think, on the surface level as we should. Does
that make sense?
I don't know.
All right. I think that's it. And in terms of why our readers should create,
Everybody should.
Well,
everybody should.
I don't know if there's a should, but I think it's an opportunity.
Yes.
I would like all of our webcast attendees today to do a little creating. I would like them to draw Dumbles at some point. I think everyone.
I mean, I think everybody is going to.
Was that a segue? What?
Did you memorize this?
That was perfect.
Robbi, Rebecca and I prepare for things.
I know.
All right. I know that you're not familiar with that approach, but all right. Everybody, get a piece of paper, get a pen, no cheating. Somebody wrote in the text, I don't know how to draw. So on to Matthew. Yes, you do. Everybody can draw.
Yes.
So get a piece of paper. All right.
Okay. I'm going to screen share.
Hannah, you too. All right.
I'm going to screen share. Hold on. Let me get over here.
All right.
All
right.
Draw Dumbles.
All right.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. So,
all right, friends.
Can I get a thumbs up from my crew if you see my draw Dumbles?
Okay.
Excellent. Okay. So here we go. Step number 1. We're going to draw a rounded W, not a butt. This is not a butt. I tell the kids when we do this, it's not a butt. It's a rounded W.
You say it's not a butt.
There we go.
All right.
A rounded W. Gosh, I haven't drawn on my tablet in so long. This is such a delight.
All right.
Okay. Step 2. We're going to go up from the left side. We're going to go straight up and then angle over, sort of like the side of a coat hanger, or maybe like a bent open paper clip. All right. That's step 2. Everybody with me? Step 3, from the bottom of that open paper clip, we're going to go straight over, and then we're going to curve down and connect to the other side of the rounded W that is not a butt. Okay?
All right.
That is step 3.
My Dumbles has a squished face.
That's
all right.
Okay.
All right.
It's okay. Step 4, we're going to start another triangle that's matching the one on the left, over on the right. So there we go. Okay?
All right.
Next. Okay. We'll try this one way. You can do so don't draw it yet. You can do an oval in the middle here. That's a basic nose.
All right.
Or you can do an oval that has like what is that?
A triple U.
A triple U on the bottom.
Not a W.
No, yes, it's three little bumps on the bottom. Those are just little nostrils. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so now the next part is the eyes. And the eyes are tricky. You have lots of options. So I'm going to give you lots of options. So don't draw anything yet. So here's one option. One option is little dot eyes. Little dot eyes are delightful because they give your character a bit of a blank expression. It looks like Dumbles isn't thinking anything in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one option. Then we have upside down U's. Okay, those are smiling eyes. That's like when you smile, your cheeks go up and they make your eyes squint like that. So those are happy smiling eyes. Okay, you have that option. You also have U's that aren't upside down, that are the right way. Those are sort of, sometimes those are dreaming eyes or sleeping eyes or thinking eyes. They're closed.
Depending on what the mouth is doing.
Depending on what the
right?
mouth is doing, what the eyebrows are doing.
Right.
Okay. Then we also have, let's see, oops. We also have just dashes. That's what I always do. You know, Dumbles has dash eyes. Those are a little bit more expressive than the dots somehow. But it's
so weird.
It's an even expression.
Right.
We also, you can do circles, right? The circles with the dots. That helps if you need Dumbles looking in a different direction, or if you want them to be surprised. Those are the dots. Those are the circles. Okay, so choose one of those options, right? Dots, dashes. Oh wait, there's one more. There's one more, which is just straight dashes. That's sleeping. He's asleep. He's asleep and he's not dreaming of anything. He's just asleep. Okay, so I'm gonna just do my dashes, because the next part will also show you some things about Dumbles. The next part is the eyebrows, and these are perhaps the most important part of a character's expressions. You can tell so much about what a character is thinking by their eyebrows. So again, I'm going to give you some options. You look at all the options and then choose what you're going to do. So the first one is just straight across eyebrows. That's neutral. Sometimes it's a little bit surprised, a little bit concerned. Or we have angling down towards the outside. That is worried or confused a little bit. Then we have high upside down U's. Surprised. Like, oh my gosh, what happened? Look how surprised he looks. Then we also have one straight and one hooking up, kind of like an angled J. Well, that's something mysterious is happening. Dumbles is on the hunt. Okay, and then the last one, is angling down towards the nose. There you go. Now he's angry all of a sudden, right? So choose your eyebrows. Okay, I'm gonna do mystery. He's solving a mystery. And then of course you can do your mouth. Whatever the mouth is, straight across. That's, you know, thinking a little bit, smile, frown. And then on the cheeks, we do 3 dots on each cheek. And the reason we do dots and we don't do whiskers, if you do whiskers on a dog, he turns into a cat. How crazy is that? Even though dogs have whiskers, somehow that looks like a cat instead of a dog. So there we go. And then I think Dumbles has a little spot on his face, and then you can draw a little collar on there. So there you go. There's Dumbles. You can color in his nose. This Dumbles, his nose is a little high. That's okay. I'm not going to fret about it. There we go. So there you go. Hopefully everybody has a Dumbles.
All right, we need our panelists to hold up their Dumbles now, so everyone can see. Let's see Rebecca's Dumbles. All right.
Oh,
look,
sad Dumbles.
Everyone can draw.
This is like
Thank
snoozy
you.
Dumbles.
I wish we could see everybody's Dumbles. Thank you for drawing with us, friends. I know you all did because we asked nicely. All right, friends, I know.
You demanded, Matthew. You didn't ask nicely.
All right, well, okay. All right.
Thank you so much. Thanks for leading that, Robbi.
Well done, everyone.
Okay, so I think we are running a little over an hour. I just wanted to make that announcement. So, and we're recording. So if anyone has to, jet off, don't worry about it. We will be here for you in the recording. So I think we're just going to keep going as planned, right? Is that true, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robbi and Matthew, you're okay with that?
Is that okay?
Yes, just like Liz said, if anyone needs to access the recording, that will be up next week. And we'll be sending out a follow-up email to send you a link to the recording. And also we're going to link this drawing activity. So if you'd like to share it with any of your students or coworkers or teachers.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just checking. I'm not on mute. That's good. Sometimes I can leave myself on mute. We call this other fun information. There is a very significant notable thing that you do in the summer. Call it vacation, call it a summer job. I'm not sure. You may call it neither one of those things. But you spend your summers in Alaska, and you've done this, Robbi. I believe it's a family thing that you've done pretty much all your life.
Yes.
And there's a couple of photos up here that we've included that you graciously gave us, and Sunrise Summer, which I have here, which is, I love this book. Everyone should go buy this book, read this book, learn about how the amazing back matter, which I love back matter.
Yay, me too.
Tells more about how you do it. But I don't mean to talk over you. How do you spend your summers?
So the thing I was saying before about being married to Robbi being a good thing, this is the other side. You have to fly 4,000 miles to the Alaskan tundra, slip on rubber pants, and thrash around in the Bering Sea for 5 weeks every summer. But yes, you get to Robbi, tell us.
So my family has been commercial salmon fishing since I was a kid. So I grew up spending my entire summers. I used to spend 3 months every year up in Alaska in the bush. So there's no, we have an outhouse. There's limited plumbing. There's no hot water. There's you're living on a cabin in the middle of nowhere, although there are other fishermen around. So we have some neighbors, and it's a unique kind of like make do community. There's no supermarket or anything to buy stuff. So you end up making things out of tin cans. It's great for your creativity. You learn how to fix a truck with, tin can and a old rubber ball that you found somewhere. So that's the kind of place that it is. And I sort of grew up so familiar with it that it never occurred to me that it was.
When I said I wanted to write a picture book about it, Rob was like, no one's interested in that. That's boring. Anyway, sometimes you have to remind Robbi how interesting her life is. But we don't have to say too much more about this. It's something we do every year. I love that we get a chance to do it, that our kids get a chance to do it. And I think it helped prepare us for the tour in many ways.
So this book is about, the main character is our daughter. And this is about her first summer on the fishing crew when she actually had to come out and help us fish.
Oh, okay. So this photograph, this illustration is based on a photograph I took, and I took the photo for authenticity's sake, but the person here in the front is Robbie's brother. He's like, Matthew, stand on the camera and help us pull this rope. So I said, no, art, Roji, this is important for art. So I got in big trouble. So
done here. Take a picture.
When you look at this page, just know I sacrificed for this page here. Yeah.
And it's a lovely illustration. So sacrifice is well worth it. The yelling. He's mad at you, no question. Yeah. Now we know why.
There you go. Yeah.
And is this my question? Sorry, Rebecca. It is. Okay. What's next for you? I did read, and we talked about the little bit when I shushed you earlier.
That's okay.
I didn't want you to get to it too earlier.
It needs to happen.
But I think on social media, I had seen that you were working on the next Cookie Chronicles book while you were on the road. So I thought that was amazing, because pretty much everything, like the more and more I learned about you, I was like, how do you guys do all this? Like, you're the most amazing people. And because humongous like fangirl. You also felt like you knew me entirely when of course like a stranger. But and seriously, like, you've had all these adventures, these experiences. Is it possible that some projects may come out of kind of what you've recently
Liz, I would say it's quite likely. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we have 3 separate books based on our experiences and thoughts on the tour in the mix that we are thinking about. It's not.
I was gonna say, Matthew hasn't actually written them yet. He might write them and show them to me, and I might be like,
"That's right,
this is terrible.
Robbi
These are terrible."
Get it.
But no, we're always working way ahead. So Cookie Chronicles 6, the Cookie War, about a mudslinging political campaign between Ben and Janet, is up next for Robbi. Cookie of I'm not sure what, number 7 I talked about before. Life on the Moon, which is our first standalone novel about a boy named Leo who gets lost in the moon wilds and meets all sorts of we're really excited about it. That comes out in 2025. So I'm finishing that. Robbie's illustrating that, and I'm working on a new series. So we are thinking. There's always ideas flowing, and I just wish we had more time.
Tell you, Matthew is hard to keep up with. Matthew would probably have written about 1,000 books by now if he didn't have to wait for me to illustrate
and
them.
if I didn't have you keeping me in check, I would be like just a pile of cinders. I would have burst into flames and just reduced to ash. So I think we help each other. If I wasn't in your life, you'd still be working on your first book.
Yes, this is true.
And I would be a pile of
yeah.
So this is better. Yeah.
So the text of the Cookie Chronicles 6 is done.
Done.
Robbie, that's what you're
Done.
about to
The copy
illustrate.
editors, and I got it 3 weeks ago, and I've been cleaning my house instead of.
Don't tell our editor that Robbie has not started illustrating yet, but soon,
No,
Catherine.
editors will never know this fact.
She'll get it done. She always does.
Yeah. When does that have a projected pub date at this point? I ask selfishly.
Yes, it does, and I don't know what it is. I should know. It's in 2024, and I don't know what season.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's coming right up. Robbie, get
I
to
think
it.
summer. I think summer, but don't quote me on that. We should.
A lot of work to do really fast.
And then what's up next for the bus? You told us earlier that you can't move
Yeah.
it from your
Yeah.
house,
Well, he can't
outside your
because
house.
Heart won't let him do it.
If any of you will be at NCTE or AASL, we'll be speaking at those conferences this fall.
Good.
We're really excited about that. And we have a bunch of school visits lined up already. The email is ringing off the hook on that front. We love doing that.
I mean,
but most important, sorry.
well, for the bus,
Yeah.
we're going to continue doing free Title I book giveaways and
Yeah.
visits in the mid-Atlantic area, so that they're just day trips for us, so that we can do it. So we're going to do about 10 of those this year, this coming year, and we're going to continue to work with the Washington College Ed department to collect data and continue working on that study and see what else we can discover.
And we're going to continue our partnership with First Book. They've been amazing.
And Build-A-Bear,
Yeah. So we're just, the band is sticking together. We really have enjoyed doing this kind of work, and we should say Build-A-Bear Foundation donated 25,000 Reading Buddy teddy bears. So every kid that we met on the tour in May received their own full-sized Build-A-Bear to read with over the summer. So thank you, friends at Build-A-Bear Foundation, for your incredible generosity.
Yeah, some of those kids said, this is the first stuffy that I've ever had.
The first stuffed animal they've ever.
First book, first stuffy. Oh, that's so nice.
So, yeah.
So nice.
And Build-A-Bear also donated
Another
through First Book another 125,000 books that were given away through the First Book Marketplace to Title I educators.
generosity creates generosity.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
that's just remember that. So anyway, yes, so we're going to keep doing it. The bus has been something that we've loved, taking to schools, creating excitement. There's no reason to stop. There's a lot of need, obviously, and there's a lot of generosity to keep fueling our mission. So
do you feel like there's another extended tour in your
Yes.
future sometime? Okay, good.
Wait, the trick is like timing it with the kids in school.
when
and-
Jasper is in 8th grade,
Yes.
Augie will have just graduated from high school,
Yeah.
so he can skip college, come with us. Jasper can come with us. Alden will have just graduated from college. She can come along and be the videographer. And Kato is probably just
Take a gap year. He'll do
take a
like
gap year.
junior year abroad in the bus.
those kids.
You figured it out. You figured it out. Now you know exactly what you're doing it.
Dumbles will have his walker. Dumbles
Yeah.
is here somewhere. He
I
came
know.
in, but now he left again. All right. Well, anyway, yes, there will be more Busload of Bookstore, friends. Stay tuned. It was too fun to not do
Amazing.
it.
But
again.
don't hold your breath. It's going to take a while.
No.
It'll be a little while in the future.
Okay. Speed round.
Speed round.
All right.
Uh-oh. We actually have to.
All
be-
We'll
right.
be fast. We'll be fast. I know we have overstayed our welcome, but we will answer these questions like lightning.
We had some librarians and educators and teachers submit questions ahead of time.
All right.
And a lot of them we've been able to answer throughout the presentation, but
Okay.
there's a few I thought would be fun to get to at this slide. So, what was your favorite state to visit?
Oh, that's like asking us to choose our favorite
know,
child. I can't do that.
know.
All the states, it's true. All the states had amazing things to see and amazing people to meet. The most geographically gratifying and surprising state to me was Utah. Holy
Yes.
cow. No matter where you go in Utah, you can't help but be amazed. So I loved Utah equally to all of the other states. Robbie, do you have a non-favorite you'd like to mention? No.
It's really hard. I
Yeah.
don't think I can say, because
All right.
every single place we went, I was like, every day, I was like, this place would be an amazing place to go on vacation, like your year-long, like your one-time vacation of the year. And we went to somewhere different every day.
Rebecca
So I was
wanted
like,
us to say 2 words to answer this question. All right,
"This is
moving on,
awesome. Go
moving on.
ahead."
Nebraska.
What's your favorite cookie?
I
Oh.
don't like cookies. I'm sorry. I'm not a cookie
Ew.
fan. Maybe a really, really, really moist cinnamon raisin cookie, but it's
We
gotta be moist.
We live,
Would-
he likes snickerdoodles.
Like
We live, his mom snickerdoodles. That's what he
My
likes.
mom's Snickers.
We live next door to a bakery and they make the best oatmeal raisin cookies that there are, period.
Good.
Why cookies? Why not brownies?
Oh, well,
Ah.
I do like a brownie if it's really, again, really warm right out of the oven with a big glop of vanilla ice cream on top. It's got to be both.
But
Too much brownie is too sweet.
brownies don't have fortunes in them. That's probably why.
Well, you could bake a fortune into a brownie. It would get
Like a
very
king cake.
brown. But
Mhm.
yeah, brownies. My favorite cake, if you're baking, is a carrot cake with lots of cream cheese frosting on top. All right.
Love carrot cake.
In case anyone is just dropping by with a cake, that's the one it should be. All right.
We have one question from a past school that you visited. Do you miss us?
Yes, we miss you so
Oh,
much.
yes, I want to know.
No matter who you are, what school is it? Tell us in the chat right now if you're still there. What school is it that we please tell us. We miss all of you. We wish we could go. If we do the tour again, the trick is going to be not going back to the same schools because we love them so much. So anyway, yes, we miss you every day.
Just the best.
And then actually we covered the rest of the questions in the presentation. So that worked out perfectly.
Well done, everyone.
That was a great quick Q&A. Oh, so Melissa actually asked from our chat, she said, what is the most
Hi, Melissa.
what is the most confusing fortune you've ever gotten?
Oh my
I have
God.
a story.
Tell
It's
me.
not actually the fortune,
Go ahead.
but I was with we know
This is
story.
confused.
This is
Yes,
confused.
yes.
Read the fortune and it said, learn Chinese, squid. And he was like, what is that?
Why are you calling me a squid?
Why squid? It's, you know how they teach you Chinese on the other side? He had just read it like as if it were a fortune, but they were trying to tell you how to say squid in Chinese.
He was.
So that was a very confusing fortune.
Yes, he was delightful. I don't know. I think I've gotten a couple of fortunes that have been printed weirdly, so you can't see it all. And
Yeah. Said their local Chinese restaurant has fortunes that are incomplete. So you
so you complete. I'm thinking that could be a good Cookie Chronicle where Ben gets half a fortune and it drives him crazy as he tries to figure out the hidden meaning. So
that's great.
Yeah,
I'm on board with that.
All right.
Work on that one, Matthew. That seems like good. That seems good. Yeah.
Talk to my editor. Demand that the series continue. All right.
I shall.
Thank you.
Or just buy 500,000 of book 7, and then
they will have
to continue.
And inevitable consequences will follow. All right.
Well, thank you so much, Matthew and Robbi, for joining us today, and for all the librarians and teachers and educators that joined us today. I think everyone had such a wonderful time. We were able to cover so many questions. I do want to give Matthew and Robbi a chance to say.
The people on this webcast, librarians, teachers, educators, thank you for what you do. Without what you do, what we do would mean so much less. You are the ones on the front lines, putting the books into the hands of the kids who will benefit from them. Thank you for
doing the hard work for these kids.
Showing up every day, especially when you don't get enough respect or resources. We appreciate you. We love you.
We're the heroes.
Keep up the good fight. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Matthew and Robbi, for being here.
Thank you.
Again,
this is fun.
The Cookie Chronicles have been JLG selections in the past for our monthly book boxes, and we can't wait to see what the future holds. If anyone on the call has any questions about JLG or our membership, you can send us an email or visit our website for more information. Thank you, everyone, and happy reading.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
friends.